All right, guys, I've got a really cool list of guests here to talk through a particular problem that we have in the Cardano ecosystem. And this is all around the creator space, content marketers, people doing the marketing, people doing the education within the Cardano ecosystem. I don't know. I've been doing this for a long time, but we haven't seemed to be able to crack the code in regards to monetizing and growing the channels and helping educate you guys in the long term. But I have a star-studded guest list here. I have Farid from Dapp Central, Vito and Carolina from a brand new platform called Sendr as well. We're going to go through that. Hopefully this actually can help all the creators in the Cardano ecosystem, but also help all the projects that are out there as well. Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Peter, for inviting us.
Thank you, Pete.
So let's start off with this particular problem that we seem to have. And Farid, I think I'd like to get your opinions on this one here and talk about your experience in the Cardano ecosystem as a content creator. Can you give us a bit of an overview of your experience with this in general?
Yeah, sure thing. And again, thank you for hosting, and shout out to Vito and La Petite. So yeah, coming into the Cardano community a couple of years back, I think it was right around the top of 2021, coming in as a creator, it was a lot different than it is now. And I think one thing that I've realized is that Cardano is grassroots. And so not only are the projects building from the ground up, so are the creators, right? And I think that being a creator is a very important part of the process. We may not necessarily be at the very beginning where we're actually building a product, but when the time comes, and that's inevitable for every project, they will need to get the word out. And so that's where we come in. And again, I'm realizing that we are all homegrown. And so I was not funded, right, to start creating content. It was something that I just genuinely wanted to do. And I would assume the same for you, as well as La Petite and many other creators within the Cardano ecosystem. Well, as we all grow, we get more of a community, more support, but then we also have more projects that are reaching out to us, meaning our time is becoming more valuable. And if we are not exchanging that time for anything, I know that you know that very well, you won't stop getting interview requests, especially around things like Catalyst, right? Where there might be 20 or 30 teams that reach out. And if they're not funding you, it's really hard for you to, to support everybody as nice and as much time as you have. You have a family, you've got pets, you've got wives, you've got kids. Like, again, I'm just generally speaking here, but what I realize is that looking outside at other ecosystems, Bitcoin, ETH, Sui, Solana, you don't get content unless you provide some sort of payment to a creator, where Cardano is the exact opposite. We've done content for free for so long, projects actually expect content for free. And because we continue to do so, it's sort of like a self-actualizing thing, right? Where we are sort of shooting ourselves in the foot. And so I know that it's really hard for some people to hear it. Content is not my full-time job. And I don't believe that it's your guys' full-time jobs either, right? So this is something that we're choosing to do out of the passion and out of the love for Cardano and crypto. And we're not being rewarded for that, right? And so we can only do that for so long until we either burn out or realize that we have to monetize. And I think that we've now come together as a collective. And again, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think that a lot of people have felt very similar to how I feel, right? That it's time for us to treat ourselves like a business, which then also means monetizing. And I know that it can be very scary at times, right? And I've had to go through it to where people have maybe stepped away from, doing an interview because they have to pay or because it has to be monetized. But I realize it's what comes with the game. Again, if you go to any other ecosystem, you'll realize that there's no free content. And so the fact that we've been able to do that for 1,000+ videos, you yourself, Pete, have been doing it for quite a while. La Petite on X, it really means a lot. And so I think, let me back up. I hope the community sees the value in what we have already done, and that they are now willing, or at least would be willing, to support us and to fund us moving forward. And so I know there was an initial campaign that was done with Sendr, and that was extremely successful. And I think that that's really just the tip of the iceberg, what we can do and the amount of reach we can get as creators when we all come together.
And we'll go into that campaign in a little bit as well. It was quite a good campaign. I'm very impressed on how it all worked. But before we do, La Petite, Carolina, can you talk about your experience in the creator space at the moment and how you're finding it?
Of course. And again, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be with all of you in this little space. Well, for me, it's quite similar to what Farid said. We have been doing this for a while. and is actually for free because we have passion and we love the community. We love Cardano and we want Cardano to succeed. I'm pretty sure we started in the Cardano ecosystem just as a passionate person that wanted to learn a bit more, be more involved in the ecosystem. And while you start creating content, being more curious, people get excited also about what you're going to say, and you start to grow. And it becomes not only an amazing hobby, also part of something you feel responsible about it. Like you want to be there for the community. People want to hear their opinion on stuff. So you have to put it on your schedule every day, every week, work during the weekends. Like everyone probably in the Cardano ecosystem, also for builders that want to create apps and on platforms and stuff for the whole community to use. It's kind of the same for us. We need to put time on what we put out there. And we have to be also every day as we grow more careful on what we say, what we do. And that needs time and thinking and copywritings and, go out there, see what the information is. It's going around. What can you put? It has a strategy behind it. It's not like you just suddenly go and tweet something like, hey, hello, good morning, I'm here. You have to, it has a purpose. It's kind of a marketing part. It's very similar to what you do in marketing. You don't just post stuff out there. You need time for, to do content and do stuff. And we have been doing all this for free for the community because of our passion. But for now, we need what I think is, in order for us to break the bubble of the Cardano ecosystem, we need to start working together and to make it this something that's profitable for all content creators. We have been losing some content creators because of this kind of problem, because Cardano has the tech, the passionate builders, the amazing community, and also great creators, but many think that this should be something that you do for free, but no one gives their time for free. For me, creating Sendr DAO is the most it's my idea behind this. And I think everyone in the space as well, each content creator had this idea before. And even Vito, who's not a content creator but a dev, he was the one that came up like, hey, why you don't do all these guys? So the idea behind all this is in order for us to work together and find a way to support projects, because they all have a marketing budget. And sometimes they even reach out to people, to content creators, or try to do campaigns for their own, but they need support from people that have built an opinion on the space. And for me, the idea is for us to start exchanging all the effort and time we have put on this for a reward that everyone needs to eat each day. It's not that we don't eat and the others do. So yeah, this is also the kind of the problem I have been seeing as well for content creators in the space. And it will be a shame to lose more creators on Cardano.
Yes, we have to look after creators here, and everyone's part of the ecosystem. And I'd just like to add to that, I have burnt out twice this year. I've gone offline. So many people have questioned what's going on there. So yeah, I have burnt out. And even just organizing this session for us this morning, I was on my phone walking with my partner and my daughter. I'm getting glances from my partner saying, get off your phone. It's family time at the moment. So it's a struggle to get the balance, but it is a lot of time consuming stuff, just even organizing all of these meetings and whatnot. Okay. We've been teasing Sendr. We've been mentioning it. What exactly is Sendr? Can it help the creators in this content space? And can we even take it further than that? And Vito, you're probably the best person here to talk about it, because you built the majority, if not all, of this platform.
Yeah, thank you, Pete. So I even though I'm not a content creator myself, I am a builder, and I kind of bring a similar experience from the builder side of the community. Maybe let me just start with a couple of words on that. So of course, there are a few very projects in not only in the ecosystem, but in the entire blockchain space that are sustainably, let's say, viable in terms of financial and in usage and revenue and all this stuff. So many projects out there are just like using VC money or money that they have invested themselves to push projects, because we're still in a very early stage as an industry. So of course there's so many open source developers, myself included, that we sometimes build something and it's so hard to advertise because most of the time we just put our time to build it. And it's really hard for us to also put some money on top to spread the word, right? So this is where I think, like this relationship has been created in Cardano, especially where everything is so open source, everything is so passionate that, it's maybe it's not intended, but, this also affects you guys. And I think there's something has to be changed, right? To push things in the right direction. So what I also realized as not only a builder, but a entrepreneur is that many projects in blockchain, they launch a token to fund their operations, their marketing efforts, and of course their development. And usually you have to comply with the rule of thumb of having a third of a budget in marketing. Okay, and that doesn't only apply to a project, but also to protocols. And this is something that I'm not sure if we have been doing properly in Cardano so far. So I think it's about time that we kind of like take, the steering wheel in the marketing side and stop depending on the founded entities, because they have their own agendas, they have their own, policies. And I think, now that we are one of the most decentralized blockchains and we have such a powerful community, not only on the builder side, but also on the content creator, like you guys are superstars. And I really appreciate every one of you. And I'm pretty sure that the rest of the ecosystem feels the same. So please don't feel that you are letting us down because you're asking for something that is mostly fair. It's, we want to kind of like build something where everyone is happy and everyone is kind of like push things forward, right? So I think, I was actually studying like how our other blockchains are more proactive in their marketing, like how they're operating, how they're marketing their services, why they have been reaching more hype among the investors. And I realized that they invest quite a lot in social media ads, and they also invest quite a lot in influencers, and big influencers. I mean, like those that have 1 million followers and such. So this is something where I saw like, okay, what's the difference between one of these 1 million influencers and what we have at the moment in Cardano, which is we have a couple of those big influencers, but not so many. And most of them, they really work for passion, right? It's not that they're getting paid with VC money. So here's what I thought, like, actually algorithms in social media, they really push more like a very small, short times of period of a lot of engagement. So if you get that in a post, then you will get a lot of momentum in the algorithm. And this applies for all the social media. So you have a lot of traffic in a small period of time, you will get out there. Right? And this is something that we can actually manipulate or hack. And this is a little bit like the words that we have been using. Thanks to Carolina, that was a brilliant move. And to kind of like show what Sendr is about, we want to not only create a DAO to kind of like unite all content creators in a community that is very passionate, just not only to push projects, but to also talk about Cardano, educate people about it, why Cardano is one of the best blockchains out there for financial purposes, for governance, for all the use cases that we're good at, even Bitcoin DeFi. And here's where I think we work together to break this algorithmic barrier by using a platform to synchronize efforts, which means the DAO kind of like decides everything, as you guys are the main stars of the show. But of course, the idea is that if we're going to push something, we use the platform to, kind of like get notifications, act quickly on it. And in that way, we really push and create this network effect that totally beats paid and shield, influencers with millions of followers, because it's organic, it's true, and it's synchronized. And this is like the whole point of it. And I think this is one of the best things we could attempt as a community, because still, even if we are in the top 10, we are not yet, out there as we should. And this is something where kind kind of like Sendr came together when I discussed this with Carolina, and we got all this momentum, all the influencers showing.
And I think our very first attempt at a campaign on this went phenomenally well. It was about mid last month. I think it was on the 18th of September, around there, depending on where you are in the world. We did this little Cardano is going to break the internet campaign. And I think it went absolutely viral. I got news updates. I was being tagged all day, and I saw following posts and reposts going all day, getting a lot of likes and reach as well. Could someone give me an overview of what happened there? For anyone that didn't see it, you must be not on X, but this campaign was absolutely amazing. Do we have any insights, numbers, statistics, anything in the background there that we can share with people?
So the idea of the campaign was to get people excited because we were about to launch Sendr, all these collaboration efforts between all of us. Like Vito said before, there are other blockchain Spain influencers or content creators that have over 1 million followers, but we all together can boost the algorithm and reach even more than 1 million followers at the same time. So we kind of tried to do this a couple of weeks ago, like you said, mid-September, and we started a chain effect. You start in the post. And of course, the idea was, like I said, get the community excited. Everyone took part on the spreading the message. And this is what we want to do with Sendr. Take a narrative about Cardano and spread the word out there in sync with the same message if possible. So everyone finds the same information. And this way, we avoid also people talking bad about Cardano. When everyone outside the community and in the community know the same message and have the same information all over the place, no one can talk bad about the ecosystem. So this is also a way for us to control narratives and information. And that's why we want to, help projects to get out there, maybe work with the founding entities for, new milestones, new updates, etc. So we kind of did this campaign to show people the value of creators in the space, what we can achieve if we work together. So they see the time and effort we put on the campaign, it's worth it. We reached more than 4 million people with the whole campaign. The engagement rate was over 4 million. And, the whole community took part. So this is what we need from everyone in the Cardano ecosystem. Support creators and get involved in spreading the word, because this is important for everyone. If Cardano wins, we all win. So just for the people out there watching this, please just support creators when you see a nice, cool message about Cardano. This is what makes us, the blockchain on Cardano itself, shine. So we got even media coverage from this little campaign we did. It was only a proof of concept. We were just trying to see if this is something the Cardano ecosystem will like to see. And it had a huge success. And we want to kind of repeat this, if possible, each week, each month, depending on how much time we all creators have and the time we need, to create the reports and be transparent with the whole community, because we are in the blockchain space. Everyone wants transparency here. So this is kind of the idea. And we put out there a KPI report. If someone wants to read it, it's out there in the Sendr account. And even Charles jumped into the campaign, and I have seen a lot of excitement outside the Cardano ecosystem, because people were kind of like, okay, what's happening? Let's go and research about Cardano. What does it mean? Why is Cardano going to break the internet? I saw some videos on YouTube about people trying to guess what was going on Cardano. It was a good timing for us. We launched it after an educational video that got a lot of views, and the community loved it as well. And the idea is to educate people in the Cardano ecosystem and outside the Cardano ecosystem. And, like I said, if Cardano wins, we all win. So we want to repeat this. And I just was super excited to see how tremendous the campaign was. And thank you guys for participating, for being there. Without any of you, this wouldn't have the success it got.
Yeah, thanks for sharing some of the insights. 4 million views across all of our accounts. It's absolutely amazing. I roughly got about 130,000 views off of that one post. So I'm pretty sure you girls that repeated the process, and you, Farid, probably got a little bit more than that. So I'm not surprised that we managed to hit that 4 million mark, which is absolutely amazing. Now, for the projects out there that are listening to this, or someone that's wanting to launch, how could they use the platform? Like, what do they do? Like, do they engage with the DAO? Do they help us come with some campaigns? Like, what's the idea here behind projects engaging?
Well, I can maybe start a little bit talking about how projects could engage with us in the marketing perspective, and maybe give it to Vito for the whole technological experience get involved with the DAO. The idea is also to show people that Cardano is not a ghost chain. We have a lot of projects happening here. We have DeFi, we have a lot of dApps. So in order for projects to, be out there, they usually have these marketing budgets to create their own campaigns, etc., etc. But sometimes they even don't get the visibility they were wanting to, even though they invested on, creating all these campaigns. For Sendr DAO, projects would get involved with us as sponsors, and they will kind of have a budget for the whole DAO. For the members that are inside the DAO, this budget will be distributed among every member that participates on the campaign that the project wants to launch. It could be our post on X, or it could be a whole campaign of many, many stuff, depending on what the project wants and depending on the budget they have. And the idea is to distribute this budget among all the members using smart contracts, leveraging a multi-sig wallet, etc., etc. So for the projects is kind of open. This is a marketing arm for them, a distribution channel for all of them. It's kind of easier for them to go to us, to Sendr DAO, and talk just with the whole DAO instead of trying to get in touch with several content creators or several marketing teams. And we can guarantee minimum engagement rate, because we all gonna work together, and it's not gonna be out there. So of course, in order to avoid scams and all that stuff, we're not going to let every project to participate with us. That's why we have a DAO. We're going to be voting on what projects could do marketing with us or not. So everyone in the DAO has to, don't want either is to promote token launches. So for projects out there, this is something that we shouldn't do as a DAO, and we're not going to do. Probably everyone is on the same side as me, just to avoid any problem. But cool milestones and developments and stuff, that would be awesome to, spread the word out there and show people outside the Cardano ecosystem, and even people in the Cardano ecosystem that might know not the project, to, show what's going on, how can get involved in DeFi, how can they, and stuff, borrow ADA, etc., etc. So depends on the project and how they want to work with us.
And perhaps just to give some notes on the user journey, Carolina was saying one of the big issues that many projects face is that, there are so many great content creators that sometimes if you want to launch something big or make big announcements or giveaways, they have to go through the task of reaching out so many creators, and they also have to see if they match with their brand, and so many things. So this is something where a DAO also would excel a lot, because it's so easy. You just contact one organization, you pitch your campaign, okay, I'd like to launch this milestone with you guys, and in this way you kind of reach all the entire Cardano content creator ecosystem, and creators can decide whether they engage or not. So that's also part of a platform. See, the budget of a project, if it matches their own personal brand, or if there's any conflict of interest, if they're working with a project that is a competitor or whatever. So they can always decide whether they participate or not. And the idea is to leverage smart contracts. And this is why we put out there a Catalyst proposal, not only to fund the coming campaigns, to properly create an MVP out of it, because what we did so far is a proof of concept. And the whole point of this is to also fund the platform that is also in proof of concept stage. And we also have the UTXO wizard himself, Raulito. So he's a content creator and a very well-known builder, and he will be responsible to build this smart contract to distribute all these royalties from projects that want to participate with us in the DAO. So that's a little bit like the whole tech stack of the solution. And the way it works right now is that projects have to kind of like apply to work with the DAO. So that is that all content creators have a say whether a project kind of like checks all the lists in terms of, the team is doxed, it has a good reputation, all the policies that you guys want to implement in the DAO, you gotta like put them then out there, protocolize it, and tell the project whether they are accepted or not. And in this way, we create a curated environment where, like only projects that fill all these trust conditions can advertise and support the DAO as well with resources and money. And in that way, we create all this. They can also be 100% sure that the content creators are also not full of bots and bad quality, content that doesn't align with the brands. It's a great win-win situation for everyone. So I think this is definitely something that will bring a lot of value as soon as we deliver it. And yeah, so the way that I see it in the future, of course, this will depend a little bit on how the projects would like to do it. Is that you get accepted, and then you just have to create a campaign, kind of like summary with with your copyright, or you can also even order like, hey guys, create content as you wish. This is the product, or this is the milestone we want to advertise. And the idea is that they kind of like put in the smart contract a budget. So let's say $10,000 in stable coins or in ADA or whatever token the DAO wants to accept. And the whole point of this is that after there could be like a minimum threshold of engagement. If it doesn't reach that, then the smart contract just takes a small part of the budget, which kind of is like the base payout to the creators that actually engaged. And the rest of the money just is sent back to the project. In that way, they always have a guarantee that, at least a minimum amount of creators are going to engage with the proposal or the campaign. And if everyone participates, or the majority, and this threshold is surpassed, then the royalties will just distribute it. And since the platform is connected with X APIs, it's also possible to show them a dashboard, very nice and nice looking and easy dashboard to see how the campaign is actually doing and what's their value for money out there. So it's about transparency, it's about using the tools out there, and it's about using Cardano smart contracts and all the security and decentralization that it provides to also foster this trustless environment where we can create Cardano transactions and use the best blockchain in the world to solve the marketing situation and also innovate in the entire crypto space at the same time.
To me, it sounds absolutely amazing. I've played around with the platform for a bit, and I have to say, like, from a visual user experience, from my side of things as a content creator, I thought the platform overall was really easy to use, quite clear, and I can see how much reach or engagement I've had on the platform. So all that stuff is really good. I'm pretty sure the project side of things would be very similar to that. But Farid, how do you feel about all of this? Could this actually solve our situation? Could it be a potential gateway? Because it solves, for me, a lot of things that I've had issues with. And one of them is actually like pricing, or asking projects how much should they be paying me for this kind of things. Like, I've seen the Solana spreadsheet of the Coles there, the key influencers, and they're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I just feel not right asking Cardano projects for that, because I know they don't have any money either most of the time. But Fred, how do you feel about all this?
Yeah, I think it's very similar to what you said. And I just want to reiterate a couple of things. I think that's really important, getting everybody on the same page for pricing, right? Because as it currently stands, if a project is reaching out to multiple people, they're probably getting different rates, right? With something like Sendr, there's one fee and it's equally distributed, right? Based on engagement, et cetera, and who wants to participate. And it's all done via the network. So not only are we supporting using Cardano tech, we're doing this in a way that makes sure that everybody gets a fair share depending on their contribution. And the projects only have to go to one particular place. I think, again, it's just so interesting, right? It's almost like a paradox. The large accounts are the accounts that are able to monetize, whereas some of the smaller, more homegrown accounts are the ones that are trying to make sure that we can get to that point. And so projects will inherently go to those big guys, right? But they may not necessarily see the value in the smaller accounts. But as Carolina mentioned, 4 million plus impressions and views on X, getting Charles to jump in, like we are the spark. So once that spark takes effect, the community and the other people that are looking do the rest, you know? And so I think for some reason, people underestimate the power that we have as individuals, but more so as a collective. And I think that this was a clear cut case of what we can all do when we come together. And I would also just like to just add here very briefly, this reminds me of the Cardano Girls movement, right? Where one video was able to be shared across, 2, 3, 4+ million views. And that got people excited about what was going on in the Cardano ecosystem. And so I think this solves a lot of problems. There's a lot of ADA in the treasury right now. And I think we've sat on it for a really long time. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, right? But let's go ahead and actually start to put that ADA to work. I know we do in partial through Catalyst. Let's fund some of these initiatives that can allow for the creators who are an important part of the process to do what they want to do and do it in a way that's sustainable. That's the biggest piece there. Pete, you said earlier you were getting some stares from your partner. Trust me, my friend, you are not alone. I get the stare too. Yeah, and so that's my thing. It's like, if it was sustainable, I don't think your partner would have any issue because she knows, or they would know, hey, this is actually taking care of us. But when you're constantly pouring in hour after hour, day after day, and you're not getting much of, a return on that investment, it can be a little bit discouraging at times. And so I've taken a break as well, but this has given me a reason to really jump back in and to try to pitch in where I can with Vito and La Petite, because I see the value for all the creators in the ecosystem.
Absolutely brilliant, guys. I can't wait for the next phase. So what is the next phase? Where are we from here? We've got a Catalyst proposal. We're looking for more funding for Sendr. Can we get to an MVP without funding? What's the next step? Where do we find out more?
Well, of course, the idea is to keep things moving. And even if we don't get Catalyst, we're going to try to, put this out there, like the whole platform, the smart contract, everything. It might take longer because of time and effort, but we really want to put this out there. We really want to bring this to the community. And not even only it's something good for the whole Cardano ecosystem, it's in a way to, for creators to have a way to monetize and be out there creating constant content. This is not only you put content out there and it goes viral. No, it's effort of you working every day on creating content. And it, like you said, it takes a lot of hours. So the idea of Sendr is to support each other with the content that is on the educational part of things. This is not about, because creators have all have their own brand or their own kind of content, and you can still do that as a creator, but we want to put educational content all together out there, which is profitable for everyone, for the whole ecosystem. And we want to support each other in a way that everyone gets monetized from X as well. So we can keep creating content and maybe at some point make this our current or just the only job we have. And the more content it's out there, the more people it reaches. So the idea of Sendr is to create a petite ecosystem for creators to grow and support each other. And this will benefit everyone, the whole ecosystem, projects, the community, the creators, builders, everyone out there.
Is there anything else that you guys want to add?
Yeah, just to put some final words on the next steps regarding the technical side of Sendr. As Carolina said, of course, the whole point of Catalyst is kind of like try to not keep grinding and working without a reward, since this is benefiting everyone in the ecosystem. So it will be definitely nice if we get this recognition from the community and the entire ecosystem to build this properly with resources. Of course, we can pull it without it, but it's not going to be as good, and we will definitely get all on it or keep working for free, and this is definitely not the point. And Carolina, as she was pointing out, the whole idea is that you guys, all of you, get X monetization, and this will be also a buying pressure for ADA in the future. So imagine Elon Musk funding purchasing through engagement and Sendr. This definitely has a lot of potential as well. I also want to open a small feature that I think is very, very important based on the campaigns that we just launched with the proof of concept. And this would also incentivize the community. So that is that if they engage with the proposals or the campaigns that are ongoing on Sendr, they are also eligible for very good giveaways in terms of they get a cut of the budget of a project, right? So usually in campaigns, giveaways are very popular because that incentivizes the individuals to also, participate, because everyone, they also always ask what's in for me. And this, I think, is a missing piece here, since many people also want this extra incentive. So it's a game. It's a very good game or gamification of the whole interaction. And so this is definitely, like, from the platform perspective, the next steps in my opinion. But I think it's also very strategic that we also start engaging in the conversations with main projects, and especially with the founding entities, even Midnight. So this is, I've seen they launched a lot of X campaigns. I know these are very expensive, and I'm not sure if they managed to get their objectives or not, because usually these kind of advertisements go to a lot of people that are not very relevant as a target audience. Whereas Sendr offers a very curated, crypto-oriented audience, and it's in terms of value for money, it's fantastic. It's unbeatable in my opinion. So this is something that we also should start reaching out to all these future partners. And as a DAO, we are basically neutral in terms of potential difference of opinions or drama or whatever. So it's definitely, I think, a very good step to take very soon.
All right. Awesome, guys. I'll put the links to the social media accounts and everything else around Sendr on the show notes down below. But you can get to it at Sendr_network. That's with Sendr without the ER. Little Web 2 kind of thing. But anyway, links down below for you guys so you can all find more information about that. But you can reach out to Carolina, La Petite, or Vito about the platform itself. If you're a content creator out there and want to join the platform, be a part of it, reach out. We're always looking for more people to join and help expand the reach of the Cardano ecosystem. And of course, if you're a project building on Cardano or even further that want to connect with Cardano content creators, please reach out as well. There's a lot of people there that would like to talk to you. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast and talking through Sendr and this little issue that we have with content creators in the Cardano space. But I think this could really, really help us all. So Farid, Vito, Carolina, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.